Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today on Upsize Down. My name is Daniel Ott of True North Tiny Homes, and today we're going to talk about how we move tiny homes from inside our warehouse where we build them to outside in the yard, like you can see behind me, ready to move to their final destination. Recently, we moved 2 tiny homes outside of our warehouse at the same time, or in the same period of time. This is not a typical thing we do, but we had to get both of them out to make room for a bunch more sales that we have to start building pretty soon. Each one was different, so we moved them differently. We build tiny homes on trailers, but we also build a lot of tiny homes that are going to go on pier foundations later. So how do we move those out when they don't have wheels on them? So we have everything set up now, and we're just about ready to move the Princess sideways, because the biggest thing we have to do first before the trailer gets here, because we can't pivot once the trailer's underneath, is to angle the Princess directly towards the door. And we'll back the trailer underneath and take it straight out. So as we're pivoting, what we've got going on here is a come-along system attached to the machine rollers under the blocks. The whole house is sitting on 6 machine rollers that are all at different angles, so that as we crunch this come along, it'll pivot on the back corner and swing this side over.
Done this in such a way that we're going to change the tiny home industry and how things are built. So I'm super excited about this, because when you start with a trailer and build a house on top, we often have wheel wells, or always have wheel wells. And the only other option is to do a deck over trailer, but that usually results in a much higher space. So what we've done here is we ended up actually with a less than 24-inch height on our deck. The wheels are slightly higher, but in the bottom of the Princess framing, we have created wheel wells inside the framing. So what's really cool is that this is a little bit higher than the bottom of where it's going to be, but when everything gets placed on top, we actually have a wheel well inside the framing up to here. When it gets on site, we're going to end up putting a bit of solid SM foam up in there for the insulation value, and they'll have to take that out if they're ever going to move it again. But the cool thing is that you can see how low the frame is below this tire. And we've upgraded the tires to much smaller tires so we could get them much lower to the ground. It looks like an upgraded rim, so that's kind of cool. We had to go to 4 axles to make that work. So we have 8 tires on this trailer to get it as low to the ground as possible. But what this is enabling us to do is to make a flat floor trailer, a flat floor house on a trailer without having to worry about the wheel wells, and still have maximum height possible for inside. So I'm super excited about this. We're gonna try this on the next 3 homes as well, get some feedback, and see where we go.
So we got Darcy's fire truck all hooked up. The other truck is just for getting the trailer and having more maneuverability, but then we pull out this beast so we can actually pull something heavy. Princess is on the trailer. You can see the beams are sticking out though, so as Darcy pulls forward, we're going to pull the beams farther out when we get further away from the wall. So let's give it a go. We've already moved the Epiphany over, so we're perfectly centered with the door now. We're gonna lower it onto the machine rollers, you can see, and then we're gonna roll it out the door, and then we'll jack it back up, roll the Princess trailer underneath it so that we can move it to its spot, and then reverse the process and put it back on just 6x6 blocks, just like we have the nest outside. The reason we're not rolling the trailer in right away is we've realized that because of the way the Princess trailer is done, with the wheels coming higher than the trailer itself, and we don't have wheel wells in this one, to build it up high enough, we're gonna be too high for the door. So we're kind of devising a plan. This is the same way we ended up moving the last one out of here, the nest, a few months ago. So in theory, this should work. So let's go try it out. Yeah, I'm gonna count. Remember, we're going counterclockwise here, folks.
Yeah. Wait, what? Oh, right.
Okay, ready? And 1. Now, how easy it is to move, guys. Let's E-man it at the door.
This, my friends, is how you move a tiny home.
Okay, ready? And go. Oh! Watch out, Darcy!
This just feels so weird.
We're using the super heavy duty True North Tiny Homes Pathfinder, which has more maneuverability than a giant fire truck, to maneuver the trailer in just the right spot so they can bring the princess down on it. So the house is now fully attached to its permanent trailer, but because this one was built not on the trailer to start with, because we were waiting for so many things like axles, we had to devise a way to connect it all after the fact and not make it fall off, because usually we're bolting from the top down. So what we got here is basically heavy-duty hurricane straps that I devised myself, and we've got 2 wood lag bolts going into the beams on the sides of the house, and we're missing one, but double stainless steel bolts going through the frame of the trailer as well. Underneath we have a 3" by 3" angle iron attached to the inside of the frame of the trailer, and there we've drilled 22 holes up into the 2x6 beams on the outside of the house and wood lag bolted those in all the way around. I don't think this thing is ever going anywhere off of this trailer. Thanks for catching me in full work mode over the last few days as we move these tiny homes out into the yard, ready to go to their final destination. Except for the 2 behind me that are going to sit in our yard for a while, showing people how they work on their foundation homes. Remember, I'm Daniel Ott. This is Upsides Down, where we turn housing on its head.